Butter my biscuits and whisk my eggs because you're tuned into the Goose Egg Sports Podcast, the only podcast in the world that only bet $1,500 it doesn't have a gambling problem.
Ooh.
Little throwback. I'm your host, Matt, a.k.a. Matterall, and I'm joined by always my co-host, Jared, a.k.a. Grit Romney.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
because
that.
you're such a just grindstone guy.
I like to think that, yeah. I like grit. I don't like grits that much, but...
No, I don't think anyone does, unless you're from the South.
Right, it's something you have to, like, grow up with, and obviously I never really grew up with it. Also reminds you of, like, creamed corn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big creamed corn fan either.
I would struggle in the South. I think the only thing I would do is go to, like, Waffle House.
Well,
And the one time I went to Waffle House when I lived in the South, it just was a bad experience.
I went once. It was okay.
Yeah, the one time I went, the cook quit and we just never got our food. They just
Really?
walked. Yeah, we went like after a night of drinking and the cook just quit and we just never got. And the waitress was like, "Yeah, you guys probably just go home. We're not gonna get another cook."
You guys should just order DoorDash to Waffle House then.
Yeah, honestly, that would have been fun just for we had the experience though. But we got like the Waffle House experience, I would say.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty classic.
Yeah.
The cook walking out.
Yeah, so I was excited about it.
That's good.
I left happy.
Yeah.
I think we ordered a pizza or something like that.
At Waffle House?
No, we went home.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was a fun time. Yeah, it was a good time. Speaking of grit, right after we finished the podcast on Tuesday, we talked about how there's the quarterback dominoes. They're starting to fall a little bit. And the next domino fell the next day. Carson Wentz, friend of the program, family member of the program.
Yep. Don't bash him. I'm the only one that can bash him, so be careful.
I'm a Carson Wentz believer, but he was traded. I don't even know if trade is the right word. I would say this is more of a shipped off scenario.
Yeah.
He was sent to Washington for 2 third-round picks, but it sounds like they were ready to get rid of him at all costs.
Right. There was reports that Frank Reich was apologizing to the Colts ownership.
Yep.
About believing in Carson.
Yep. Apparently, this all started like during the season even. They just did not believe in him as the future franchise quarterback for the team. And they were, according to the Athletic article I read, I really wish I knew the author's name. I'll throw it on the text when I'm editing this pod. But according to the article, they were fully prepared to just swallow the $15 million and cut him if they couldn't find a trade partner for him.
Ooftas.
So that's bad.
Right. And it seems like Carson, what you get from him, it seems like he's a good locker room guy. But
you would think, but this is now multiple times when there's been reports that he's not a good locker room guy.
Right. And like every Christmas party that I'm clearing this. He's not at my Christmas parties. But he's always a great time, you know?
Yeah.
He's always bringing, always brings a good pot roast.
For those who don't know, Jared is kind of distantly related to Carson Wentz. He's like your grandma's cousin.
His grandpa and my grandma are like first or second cousins or
Gotcha.
Some shit. Because my grandma's maiden name was Wentz.
Yep.
So that's kind of the breadcrumb trail.
Yeah, so this pains Jared that we have to talk about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what is the deal with Carson Wentz? Because now that we have multiple reports that he's a bad locker room guy, like multiple reports. We've always kind of denied it, like on the Eagles, just because, I don't know. I think it might be the Midwest in me, but I always just dismiss those reports. I'm like, no, he's a good, like, Dakota kid. Like, he's not going to,
good old boy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, he's not going to, like, none of these reports are true that he was, like, bitching during the 2017 Eagles run that he wasn't the star of the show anymore when he was injured. There's reports that he only targeted to like Zach Ertz, or he wouldn't want to run certain plays because those were Nick Foles plays. Mm-hmm. And now it's just coming out again that the Colts just no love lost whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. And I think what really did Carson in was that knee injury he had against the Rams during that Super Bowl.
On the field, I would say.
Right. On the field. Right.
But it sounds like there's off the field problems because I don't think he was that terrible off the field, on the field, at least.
His mechanics. And he like holds the ball too long. He plays a lot of hero ball.
He does do all that.
And like, just like,
but for a stretch on the Colts this year, he played really well.
But yeah, again, you can go back to Jonathan Taylor though. They had a great run game, and Frank Reich always brings the best out of every quarterback he has.
That's true.
He's a great quarterbacks coach, and I think he's a great coach. First,
of
all,
I do too.
I think he always gets the most out of his quarterbacks. So I think that's one of the reasons why he performed, quote unquote, well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was the guy who got Carson his like MVP season, even though he didn't win the MVP. I still kind of consider him the MVP of that year. But
yeah, who did win it that year? 2017.
Tom Brady. But it was one of those. It was a very like quiet year, kind of all around the league.
Right. We'll just give it to Tom again.
Yeah,
Catch
exactly.
on his legacy.
Pretty much. But it's weird now because this is absolutely got to be his last chance as a starting quarterback, right?
Yeah,
in Washington.
And do you think he's that big of an upgrade over Heineke?
I do. Yes. I was shocked that the Super Bowl odds didn't go up at all. Like the Super Bowl odds stayed the exact same the day before the trade and the day after the trade for the Washington Commanders. And I was shocked by that. I think Carson's a huge upgrade over Heineke.
Huge upgrade.
I think so.
Okay. I would say just a notch above.
Really?
I wouldn't say it's like crazy good upgrade. But.
Do you think Carson's a bottom 15 quarterback in the league?
Yeah, he's like probably the...
I think he's between 15 20?
Somewhere. He's probably the top 17 quarterback in the league.
Hey, that's pretty damn good, isn't it?
But like that's the thing though. Average quarterbacks, it's hard to win with an average quarterback.
It is. Again, I've said this on the podcast before. I fall in love with ceilings. So I still think he can be great, but I don't know. At this point, I think he's going to go down as one of the biggest what ifs in the NFL. Because I think clearly his injury did have an impact on how he plays. Because he still plays like he's like an athletic freak of nature. Because that MVP season he was like shrugging off defenders, extending plays, and just throwing bombs. And now when he tries to do that, he'll throw like a pick 6 or something like that.
And like he holds the ball way too long. He's kind of like a bad version of Brett Favre at this point.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
He's all of the bad of Brett Favre, and he shows some glimpses of the good sometimes.
Right. It's like 20% of the good of Brett Favre.
That's very true.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. I guess it was just the injury, and maybe just that psychologically he got affected by Nick Foles coming in and winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But he was supposed to be the guy. Everyone in the league was super excited about him and the Eagles during his MVP season because he just looked phenomenal. Everyone was like laughing at the Rams for taking Jared Goff because he was just crushing it at 2 overall.
Right. So do you think rewind to 2017, do you think if Nick Foles doesn't get hurt, Eagles win by more? Do they lose? What do you think?
So you're saying if Wentz had that playoff team?
If Wentz doesn't get hurt in that Rams game, week 14.
They were clicking in that season.
Yeah.
I think they would still win it. Foles is definitely, he played safer than Wentz, but Wentz wasn't making too many turnovers that year either.
Not really.
I don't remember the exact stats, but I just remember that Eagles team played with so much confidence and swagger.
Yeah.
They were just the team to beat, and they kind of came out of nowhere because Wentz's rookie year was nothing spectacular.
Yeah, I think the year before they went like 7-9, and then they rattled off like 13-3, 14-2 that
something like
season.
that. But they were just dominant. Their defense was really good. I think they still would have won the Super Bowl. I think they would have beaten the Vikings in the NFC Championship.
Probably, yes.
It would have been interesting to see Belichick's game plan for Wentz versus Foles.
Because there would have been more tape on Wentz than Foles at that point.
Exactly.
Eagles. So
because Foles, it was just the 2 games.
About 4 or 5.
Oh, that's right. He played the regular season too, but he looked bad in the regular season.
Yeah, and then like that first wild card game or whatever game against the Falcons, they didn't look great. Foles didn't look great in that.
I think they only won because like the Falcons got stood up on the goal line.
Yeah, they were like one play away from.
Yep.
Facing the Vikings. Oh God, what if? God.
A lot of what ifs for that season.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about 2017 anymore. So.
That's okay, but yeah, I mean, where do you think the Colts go from here? There's talk they might just try and roll with Ellinger.
So Jason La Canfora. I don't know how reliable he is nowadays.
Yeah,
but he says that Cousins is getting like people are calling the Vikings about Cousins right now.
Oh yeah.
So maybe
I think he's the next domino to fall. I think he's gone.
So maybe the Colts are trying to get capital to trade for Cousins with this Carson thing going on.
Yep.
Maybe. La Canfora did call Zimmer getting fired and all that weeks before. So I don't know. His credibility is up and down, La Canfora. So maybe Cousins is on the move.
I mean, Cousins has to be the best available quarterback left now, right?
Right. And
I guess. Deshaun Watson. But, that's so many question marks around that.
That's a can of worms, too.
Yeah.
So maybe Cousins is on the move. I do want to see Cousins just for one more year.
Oh, no.
Just one more year.
Oh, he's got the hook on you still.
Because I want to see.
It doesn't hurt. I would say it does not hurt to try the Cousins thing one more year.
Just one more year. I think this is like make or break.
Yeah, get him with an offensive-minded coach that
he has experience with.
I think the first time in his career he would actually Mike Shanahan with Washington.
Yeah, probably
as an offensive-minded head coach. Sure, I should say. Yeah.
And then he had Stefanski in 2019.
He wasn't the head coach.
Right, but if you want to count that, head coach, whatever.
I know. There's always that weird like aspect to it, like how much of an influence does the head coach have over a quarterback versus just like a good offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So, I mean, this would be a no excuse year for Cousins.
Yes, 100%. And he's like his third one.
and I say that now, and this will probably be the year he gets like injured for like 10 games.
Exactly. So week 2 he goes down. Like, all right, we got to do it one more year. It wasn't fair.
Yeah, and then a year from now, like, oh, just give him one more year. Just give him one more year.
He's going to finish his career in the Vikings, basically.
We'll be here 5 years from now. Like, I think this is the year Cousins does it.
Yeah, he's really going to take that next step.
Yeah. Because I got a hot take that people are not going to like here.
I would love to hear it.
I don't think Cousins is that far off from Stafford's talent.
Really? Do you think he's got a great... I never really think of Kirk Cousins having a great arm, but maybe I could be wrong.
He can throw a deep ball pretty well.
He is one of the better deep ball throwers in the league.
Right. And like, I don't like, people think I'm crazy, but Cousins is not that far off from Stafford. He just isn't.
Do you think the haul would be similar if they were like to trade Cousins? You think they would get 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a starting quarterback for him?
See, I don't know. The quarterback market is so crazy.
I think the thing with Stafford was we all kind of thought there was a next step he could go to, like, because he was on such a bad team for so long. Like if he was in the right situation, he would do better. Offensively, there's not many better teams than the Vikings in terms of talent around the quarterback.
Yes.
The offensive line obviously is questionable, but in terms of talent around the quarterback, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a team better than the Vikings. Maybe the Rams or the Bucks.
If you're just going off raw talent, I would agree. Yeah.
So that's the thing. I just don't see Kirk Cousins taking another step.
Right.
I think he is what he is at this point.
Maybe, that one step could be he wins 2 playoff games instead of 1 playoff game.
Yeah.
And that could be his ceiling.
It could be, but then again,
is that worth it?
Exactly.
Yep, I know
what is your goal here? Are you just trying to make the playoffs, or are you trying to win the whole thing?
Right.
I don't think Kirk Cousins can win a Super Bowl. I think Matthew Stafford can, because he has.
Right.
But I thought that beforehand too.
And what Stafford and Cousins like wins against winning teams are pretty similar too.
Yes, that's very true.
But
and they're both good like fantasy quarterbacks.
Right. But then again, Stafford is on the Lions. You got all that, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's just a comparison.
When did you hop back on the Kirk Cousins bandwagon?
I think when O'Connell got hired.
Yeah. Now you have an offensive guy.
Right. I'm nice and brainwashed with the Vikings organization.
You watch all of like the hype videos that come out of like him like getting to work super early.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm nice and brainwashed for all these takes. So I'm ready to go for the season.
You got some purple Kool-Aid on your lip, by the way.
Yeah. God, I'm fucking thirsty.
Oh, well, I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's run it back.
Mm-hmm. Run it back.
So you're out on Baker Mayfield then? A Kirk Cousins for Baker Mayfield trade?
Yeah, I would. Baker would be tough. That would be tough for me to cheer for.
Yeah, that would be a rough one.
Or maybe, I don't know. Good. Pittsburgh, maybe.
Yeah, I could see him going to Pittsburgh. I think Indianapolis.
Definitely an AFC team.
Yeah, I think that's the just thing these guys do these days. If you're going to trade a quarterback, trade it to a different conference just because you can't live with the idea of facing them again and them just destroying you.
Right, yeah. Closest thing I remember to that is McNabb going to Washington after the Eagles.
A divisional trade, yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
But obviously that didn't really move the needle.
Hey, well now Carson Wentz is back in the NFC East. He's ready to he's gonna wreak havoc on the Eagles twice a year.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah, that will be interesting.
That will be, even though there's not really anyone left from that team.
I'm gonna call right now. One of the Monday night games will be Commanders versus Eagles.
Probably, I bet their first one, like their first matchup of the year, will be on Monday night.
Yep, it'll be like that 6 p.m. whatever game, and then there'll be that West Coast game.
God, we're so good at calling.
I know
when games will be what.
That's like one of my favorite things, like call when these matchups are gonna happen.
What is that though? I because I do the same thing. I think I just love visualizing so much, and I can definitely visualize like all the storylines. I know I'll probably be at an Applebee's ready to watch that game.
Get off work, like, yeah, we got Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it's Burger Monday at Applebee's, $5 burgers.
Oh, here's a good question. What is your favorite like nighttime stadium? Like, what's the coolest stadium at night?
Seattle is pretty sick.
That's a good one.
Seattle, a primetime game cannot be beat. It's sad we're not going to get too many of them. I hate Dallas at primetime. I think Dallas should just permanently be the 4 p.m. Fox game, and I would be happy with that.
Yeah. And you get that sun going through and it blinds the people in like November, December.
For some reason, I just love that way more. Minnesota does a night game pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Lambeau does too. I would say Seattle's my favorite, but yeah, I got nothing to add to that. I would say Seattle's my favorite.
I would say Patriots is kind of my least favorite, only because there were just so many night games there.
There were.
Just oversaturated with that.
Yeah, that's how I'm starting to feel with Arrowhead too, a little bit.
A little bit, and it'll keep getting worse as the years go on.
Yep.
But that is a cool. I like Miami because they have like, it seems like the lights are a little brighter in Miami.
Yeah, for some reason. And the field seems like they turn the saturation up on the field. Like the field is so green in Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know
makes sense.
Yeah.
Arizona's a great one.
Baltimore is really good too, especially if they wear the black jerseys.
Oh yeah. It's like Virginia Tech when they have like the blackout in Blacksburg. That's like a very similar thing.
God, we gotta get some football on TV. I'm fucking missing it already.
Yeah, I just want to watch night games.
Pretty much. You know who else really wants to watch football right now? Probably
who?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh yeah.
We did talk about this on Tuesday. So for those who missed it, it's old news at this point, but we'll just touch on it because at our roots, we are still a gambling podcast. Calvin Ridley was suspended for a year for betting on 3 parlays, a 3-team, a 5-team, an 8-team. I'm a fucking parlay fan, but the fact that he bet on an 8-team parlay is probably enough reason for the suspension.
Yeah. He
included the Falcons winning in all of them. Oof. And he also went on a Twitter rampage, just admitting guilt and admitting that he put $1,500. He doesn't have a gambling problem.
And a lot of LOLs, like, but he's like pissed off. Like,
oh yeah, he's trying to be like, oh, I'm too cool for the league. Like, I don't need this.
Right.
We talked a little bit about this. I think the initial reaction of kind of the zeitgeist of the league was, oh, the NFL is so fucked. But overnight, it shifted to like, yeah, this was probably the right move by the NFL.
Yep. That night, I was like thinking about it, like, you know what, Calvin probably, yeah, he.
It's not good that a player is betting on the games. Especially he knew what he was doing was wrong. He didn't even try and hide it.
Right. Yeah. And like the integrity of the league is so important because if you give them just like a small fine, other people are,
the risk reward.
And if the league gets totally corrupt, everybody's going to lose.
Yeah.
NFL is going to lose. The fans are going to lose. Teams are going to lose.
Especially now that like people like us are starting to gamble on these games. Like we can't have the integrity of the league shaken like this. I think that's why I push so hard for we need better refs in these games. We can't have bad refs deciding certain games or certain aspect of games.
Yeah, ask the NBA about that.
Absolutely. Sacramento Kings would like a word with,
right.
with us.
Yeah, so I understand why the NFL did it. So a year suspension, there is precedent with that.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 60s, Paul Horn and Alex Karras got suspended for an entire year for betting on games.
Yep.
This is like 1963. So, and if you really want to rewind, the Chicago Black Sox were throwing games like in 1918, over 100 years ago. So
that's insane to think about.
Yep. So there is precedent for all this. And I think overall it's the right call by the NFL. Obviously, the NFL has problems deciding suspensions, all that.
Yes.
But when it comes to this single case, I'm pretty much on the side of the NFL.
I would just like to see more. I think everyone was more so, I think they realized afterwards they were more so mad at the lack of severity for things like domestic violence or like drunk driving.
Right.
Like,
which is a problem.
100%. I think those should be stricter punishments for sure.
Yep.
But it was an interesting case of you don't always have to be the first person to express an opinion on something. It's okay to like sit back and think about things, especially in sports. Everyone immediately thinks their opinion is the right one, or they'll just hop onto whatever people are saying on Twitter.
Yep. And it's always like cooler to be like anti-shield and everything.
Absolutely. Fuck the league.
Right.
Stand with the players no matter what.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things.
Yeah. We just see whatever like Portnoy's tweeting and just hop onto that, or Mina Kimes or something like that.
Yep. And everyone wants that early clout that gets a good tweet.
That's the problem with, like, I don't want to get too deep into this, but like today's society is everyone is willing to like say the wrong thing if it means they get likes or retweets. Mm-hmm. I even fell victim to it. I was like once this happened, you and I were like, we got to get some sort of like tweet out quickly, like, because we're also in the social media business,
right?
I think, and I guess all these other people are too that are talking about it, but it just makes for bad discourse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, we gotta fucking get Twitter taken down or something like that.
Yeah, Twitter should spend everybody's.
You should only get one tweet a day. I actually do believe that 100%. I think you should only get one tweet a day.
I like that a lot.
Because I think that would actually fix so many of the problems of the way we communicate with each other.
And it's quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And like you gotta like get a banger out.
I think that would be good for honestly all social medias.
Right. Yeah. Well, we could start our own one and just we call it one tweet a day.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've actually seen. I think I saw someone. I can't remember who, but they were like suggesting that as well.
Oh, okay. You saw it on Twitter?
Yeah, I think so. And then it was a thread actually. So
he tweeted multiple times off of that.
100%. The hypocrisy was not lost upon me.
How ironic.
Yeah. Let's shift gears from football a little bit. The madness is full-fledged.
Yes.
Shout out to the SDSU Jackrabbits, my sister's school of choice. They are going dancing.
Yeah.
And we're at halftime of the Duke-Syracuse game.
10 minutes left.
10 minutes. Oh, 10 minutes left of the second half. I read that wrong. Duke is up by 2 points. Selection Sunday is around the corner. I also decided for March Madness, we are going to have on the ESPN app, you can like have bracket groups. So we're going to have our own bracket group so our fans can like play along with us.
Oh, fun.
I'm trying to think of maybe we'll do some sort of prize, something like that. We'll decide by next Thursday's podcast, but be on the lookout for that. I will tweet out details on and put them on Instagram, all the Goose Egg pages, goose.egg.gamble, you know where to find us. So be on the lookout for that. Brackets are almost here. You're kind of the college basketball guy, so I lean on you a little bit here. Are there any teams that are heating up a little more from when we talked about this last week that you got your eyes on?
It's a good question. I've been watching a lot of SEC recently.
Yeah.
I like Alabama still a lot. I think Calipari will get it together in Kentucky. Illinois is looking good. Coburn's a really good center for Big Ten. Purdue's getting hotter and hotter and hotter as the days go on.
At the right time.
At the right time. So, and I like their center Edie a lot. So I don't know. I don't really quite know yet. This is the time of year you kind of really scope out like the Kemba Walker teams.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So, I mean, it is still early in the conference championship round. So, do you think South Dakota State goes far at all? They're like the Cinderella almost.
No, I do not. They maybe win one game, but this happens all South Dakota State. And because I'm from South Dakota, I have a lot of SDSU people in my Snapchat and my Instagram still. So every year when they make the tournament, which is pretty regularly these days, they probably make it every other year or so. Mm-hmm. And they're always super excited. Like, yeah, we're going dancing. This is our year. And
we're going dancing.
We'll talk about it in a little bit because I have some fucking thoughts on that phrase. But every single year, and they just never do. They'll maybe win one game because there are going to be those random 13, 14 seeds that do win games. But I just feel like it's never the SDSU for whatever reason.
I know you're not huge into this, but like if you're to pick one winner to win it all, who would you pick?
Right now? I think you said Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's a train.
I like that. I always just kind of lean on like the blue blood programs like Duke, stuff like that.
I could see Duke like catching fire. I mean, we'll see with this conference game, but they'll still be in the tournament regardless.
Gonzaga's fucking good.
Yeah, Gonzaga's really good.
I've been watching them a lot. I've been betting a lot on Providence lately, and they've never let me down. Mm-hmm. Right now, I have a friend of mine is giving me his college basketball picks, and they've been fucking hitting. I don't know if he just watches a lot, but they've been really good.
He gave you that North Carolina Duke bet, right?
He did.
Yeah. I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either because I was like kind of argued against him on that. And he's like, no, I just think rivalry game, they're going to like play their asses off and Duke's going to be a little like thrown off by the pregame ceremony. So he was right. So my friend, you know who you are. I know you listen. So I appreciate that. Do you think it's cheating to listen to a friend and just take their bets? Because I got some shit for that.
No.
I don't think so either. No. I think we're all in this together. It's us versus Vegas.
Right. Yeah. This is a group effort.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of collectivism.
That's why I'm totally fine. People will DM the Goose Egg page sometimes with like their bets for the weekend and stuff like that. And I like hopping on it just because like if it was a game I wasn't previously going to bet on or watch, it gives me a reason to watch.
Right. And I follow handicappers on Twitter that help out. And I don't know, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, and then you and I are always trading betting advice. You gave me that really good bet idea for today for the Final Four.
Oh yeah, should I reveal that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's a little early on in the process, but remember this for a month from now.
Okay, so when the Final Four starts, the very first game of the Final Four, bet the under for the first half because
of the first game of Final Four.
The first half, yep. Bet the under because there's always people talking about like the depth perception with the hoop in the stadium is much larger than a normal like basketball arena. So that like throws it off a little bit, like for 3-pointers especially. And it's becoming more and more of a 3-point shooting league. Mm-hmm. So that's a big part of it. And the rims seem a little stiffer in the Final Four also. Just like a little tighter. It's like they just went a little righty-tighty, a little too much on the rims.
Well, it's because I think the staff just wants everything to be perfect. It's the bigger event, so they like are way more thorough than they probably need to be.
And they seem like new rims that are really not quote unquote broken in. So they want the nicest shit possible.
And these are also arenas that people aren't typically playing basketball in. So they're like bringing new rims and hoops in, right?
Yep. And then like the floors I don't know if the floors are.
The sneakers squeak a little different.
Squeakers, yep. And then you got that rolling camera on the side. It's very distracting. Mm-hmm. I'm always afraid somebody's going to just dive into that and hurt themselves.
Or fucking hurt the camera.
It's a lot of money. It's like $5,000 that thing.
That and also just like the jitters of playing that first Final Four game. They won't have played for a week. and they're 2 games away from a championship.
And there's a lot of hype around it.
A lot of big crowds.
Kendrick Lamar's in the parking lot performing a concert.
I hate when they do that. Like, now we're going to go check in on Diplo as he performs in a parking lot somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chain smokers.
Yeah, the chain smokers probably make their annual salary just performing at sporting events. There's such such a weird Venn diagram of like artists who have like, I don't want to say like no artistic integrity, but like they're clean. Their music is clean enough to be played on ESPN.
Yeah. It's like that bang, 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 that song.
100%. Imagine Dragons own that demographic. The Chainsmokers own it.
AJR, I think, is the... J.
Cole usually gets his songs on
NBA.
Yeah, J. Cole's NBA commercials.
Right.
J. Cole, I think, just drops a new song right before the NBA playoffs every year just so he can be on the commercials.
On the bumpers.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. They don't really do it with Drake. I think he's probably just too expensive to like buy.
But you would think, I can't imagine J. Cole's that much cheaper than Drake, but I think J. Cole just has like the harder like beats. I think Drake doesn't really do like hard rap beats anymore.
Well, and J. Cole's like more of a basketballer too. So
yeah, he's trying to make it in the NBA.
So like, he probably wants that exposure, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still playing in Africa because he was playing in Africa this last summer.
I forgot about that.
I listened to his podcast he did with Kevin Durant about that. It was actually really cool. He wants to make it to the NBA.
How old is he?
He's 34, I think.
Ooftas.
Yeah, but he like kept the goal a secret for like the last 10 years, and he's like been training like an NBA player for like the last 4 years. That's why he hasn't like dropped a ton of new music yet.
Wow, he's really into it.
Yeah, his 2 biggest goals in life growing up were to be a rapper and be in the NBA, and he did the rapper thing, and then he realized like, oh shit, I still have like time to make it to the NBA, which you could say is delusional, but he like made it to a professional Africa league. And now, would he have made that if he wasn't J. Cole? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool. I don't think he'll ever start an NBA game, but I could see him making on a roster someday.
Well, I could see like
the Kings or something.
Or like G League.
Yeah, I could see that. And he's from Carolina, so maybe the Hornets bring him on for like a day.
Yeah, and
something like that.
I could see him in the G League, and that's about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's 34 tough. 34. He is like does not have a huge vertical. He can shoot pretty well.
If he was like 26 right now, there is a chance, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, poor guys have to just settle for being a platinum rapper.
Poor
instead.
guy. Yeah, poor guy.
But it was inspiring still, nonetheless.
Yeah, it inspires you to go to the NBA.
I don't think. I think I could drop everything right now, and I don't even think I can make the G League. I have so much work to do in basketball. It's so.
I don't know if you'd make the G League even.
I don't even. If I dropped literally my entire life, and also like assuming I adopt like the just mindset of like singular focus and just could do that, I don't think I could.
No.
I think I could maybe start on a rec league or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pitiful in basketball, dude. I fucking love playing, but I'm fucking pitiful. There's nothing in the world more humbling than watching yourself play basketball on video.
Oh, yeah.
Like when we did that video with Joey and I watched myself play. God.
Yeah.
I would rather do like a thirst trap than post a video of me playing basketball.
It is embarrassing.
I didn't realize my shot form was that bad. And like in the moment, I feel like I'm doing good. Like I feel like, oh, I'm crossing them up, like I'm dribbling. Then I look at the video, I'm like looking down at the ground, dribbling with my palms.
And you're like, your back's like way too straight. You're like,
yeah, that's the key of like a bad athlete is your back is way too straight.
Right. You don't get low. Bats in the cave.
Yeah, and that's my problem. I watch now that I'm in these breakfast ball videos too. Like I think my golf swing is improving, but I watch it. I literally look like fucking Waluigi from Mario Golf swinging. That's the most comparable thing I have because I'm like kind of built like him too.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but you are. Yeah.
No, I've been told by people.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that. So.
There's sometimes even like after, like when I play with some of my friends, like after a bad swing, they'll just go, wah.
Oh,
it's okay. I'll get over it when I make it to the league.
Yeah, when you beat Ryan in golf, then you can.
That's coming this summer.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
One of my New Year's resolutions was to put 50 dedicated hours of golf in.
Oof. Even just like hitting the driving range.
Well, driving range counts as 1, but like a round of golf counts as like 2 because you're not actually playing golf for all 4 hours.
Right. Yeah.
I'm already at 7. We played a lot in Arizona.
Well, you'll hit that.
Yeah, I think
especially when you're with breakfast ball and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think you'll hit
easy
that.
New Year's resolution for me.
Yeah, that's a layup.
Jared, there's 2 ways I'm going to be making money this weekend. I'm going to be going to a casino for a wedding, and I'm going to be placing lots of bets on DraftKings.
Nice.
I feel a lot more confident with my odds on DraftKings than I do at the casino.
Oh, naturally.
Yeah, I feel good about where my basketball headspace is at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Been placing some UFC bets with the help of a friend.
Oh, nice.
Those have been hitting pretty well.
Nice.
And even dabbling in a little bit of hockey.
Yeah. Hockey's a tough nut to crack, but once you get it, it's fun.
Yeah, that's right. I keep hearing that hockey gambling is the way to go.
Yep.
So I'm kind of dipping into all of the plates, and it's easier to do than ever with DraftKings, obviously.
Yep.
Because they have any bet you could possibly imagine in terms of sports, e-games, etc.
The whole 9 yards.
Oh, game. Yeah, absolutely.
The whole full court.
Full court. There you go.
The full ice.
The whole hardwood. Rink. The full rink.
The full rink. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of that. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Been making a decent amount of money. I'm not going to lie. I'm still slightly hot from the Super Bowl. It's like running over. I'm obviously getting a lot of bets from some friends that are helping out.
Hey, that's fine though.
Absolutely. It's a group effort. It's all about us versus Vegas.
Yes.
And DraftKings is our weapon, our secret weapon against Las Vegas, I would say.
Yep, absolutely.
So as March Madness is right around the corner, people, you got to get in on DraftKings. And if you're not in a state where there's legal gambling, you can always do the daily fantasy.
Yep. You can almost play it every night with NBA.
Oh, yeah. There's always games you can go on. I think DeMar DeRozan is probably the best daily fantasy player out there right now.
And James Harden's sneakily good.
He's, sneakily good. Avoid Russell Westbrook. I kind of thought he'd be a great fantasy player when I got him in my keeper league.
Great advice.
He is not. Yeah. So that advice is all free. So yeah, just head over to DraftKings and get ready because this March is about to be crazy.
And lit.
And lit.
And madness.
And madness. Shit, I should have done that one first. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Speaking of layup, back to basketball. So I would say Providence and Arizona and Gonzaga are my 3 teams I'm going to be watching for the most.
It's like with Providence, like I don't know anything about the Big East. Like that's one thing I always.
That's such a. I never even visited that part of the country except for the one time I went to New York and Washington D.C. I know nothing about the East.
And like,
what do they do there?
The thing about Big East is like their logos all look kind of similar. I don't know how to explain it, but like Creighton looks similar to like Villanova. Providence looks similar. Like they all have like the same type of a design.
You can tell.
And it was always like blacks and blues.
You can tell that they're not schools where creative people go to. It's schools where like business people go to.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because all their logos are, I think, boring.
I think they're kind of cool, but they just all look so similar.
And all their like mascots are just like the Bears or something like that. There's just not a lot of creativity on the East. And I think that's like just kind of how that culture is of the world. Like the East is very just like money, business oriented, science oriented.
Well, it's very like well established in like traditions or
exactly
because like Harvard and all that are like the oldest universities.
Yeah, someone named like Wellington back in the day designed these, and they just stick with it because they believe in the blue blood tradition.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a thought I had. Is like all these logos look pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, you have like the Stanford trees, right? And then like Oregon rebrands every 2 years, stuff like that. The West Coast is very into change.
I think you can blame Phil Knight for that.
Oh yeah,
with Nike and all that.
100%. Great book. I don't know if you've read his book. Check it out for the Goose. That'll be the first Goose Egg Sports Book Club book. Is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight.
We won't be doing that for 3 years because it takes me forever to read a book.
I'm so bad at it too.
No, you're better than I am.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
How many books do you think you've read in your 20s?
In my 20s?
Yeah.
Fuck. 2 or 3. I'm
probably at like 4 or 5.
That's better than I'm doing.
But all my books are nonfiction. I've not read a fiction book since I think high school.
Oh, you should get into it. It's fun.
I always just think it's a waste of time because I get into big self-improvement phases of life.
Gotcha.
Big like Ryan does kind of. I'll read a lot of the same books Ryan has. That's why I get a lot of his references. Yeah. Like when he was talking today about David Goggins' pull-up record.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's the type of thing. So I want to go back a little bit to when you said we're going dancing.
Yes.
I technically said it too. I see it all over my Instagram right now because the Jackrabbits are going dancing.
Your Jackrabbits.
They're not my Jackrabbits. If anything, I would have gone to USD.
Oh, gotcha.
I did the 3 schools I applied to were USD, SDSU, and U of M, and I got into all 3.
Wow.
Actually, I might have applied to Nebraska too. I don't remember.
Big book reader. A
little bit, but I hate the phrase "we're going dancing" so much, and I don't know why. I think it's just overused. It's one of those things that people post. It's like, oh, look, I know a little bit more about sports than you do. Because they want someone to reply like, what do you mean you're going dancing? Oh, well, the big tournament's called the big dance. And since we're going to the big tournament, we're going to the big dance. It's like that, it's just that slight, there's some weird like level of condescension to it or.
Yeah.
Condescending, whatever the fuck. But it just got me thinking, what are some sports tropes that you hate? because sports are loaded with just those cliches or those tropes that just feel outdated or just feel like people say just to fill airtime. Especially with the 24-hour news cycle, we're all just kind of saying the same thing just to kill time.
I hate when people call it a copycat league. I said,
oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a bad one. It's just like, it's a copycat league. It's a copycat league.
Like, well, elaborate on that one.
Right. I want to say it's a carbon copy league.
That's even better.
That's what I say.
Because you're smarter.
Right. So I'm a little more big brain than that.
Mm-hmm. One I hate is the sentiment that one team wanted it more than the other. I think when you're at the level of sports where like watching it, I don't think one team wants it more than the other. And Mark Cuban does a really good breakdown of this when he went on to First Take, like after the Mavs beat the Heat in the finals. He called out Skip Bayless and Stephen A for that. He's like, your guys' analysis is basically like, oh, like Dirk wanted it more than LeBron. It's like, I think everyone wants it the same amount when they're playing in the championship.
Sure.
Obviously, there might be some exceptions. Like Peyton Manning probably wanted it more than Jamarcus Russell, something like that. But
that's an extreme example.
Exactly.
But when you get like to the finals, I mean, everyone wants it.
Yeah, and that makes more sense for like a narrative or something like that. Like it sells better on ESPN than saying, oh, like one team made better adjustments than the other, and like actually breaking down the stuff. Saying one team wants it more than the other just sounds better.
Yeah.
But I think it's just so lazy.
Well, how do you feel about when people say like they didn't win the game, the other team lost the game? You know what I'm saying with that? Like,
I think that one makes more sense because it's like mistakes and stuff like that.
Right. Like they didn't lose the game.
Turnovers, mistakes, stuff like that. But who wants them? I can't imagine there's like, if you're in the NBA finals or something, it's game 6 and one team's like, they just wanted more. They'll probably end up winning. Like we just don't really care as much as they do. How do you quantify that? There's no quantifying it.
Well, that's why analysts say it. Because you can't quantify.
You can't challenge them on it,
and they're not very analytical to begin with. You can only do stats so much. But if it wants to fit with their narrative, then that's their fail-safe.
Exactly.
We'll just say, well, they just wanted it more.
Yep.
It's just like it's almost like just blowing air out of your mouth. It doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely, 100%.
So that's what I think with that.
Yeah.
I got what's sort of a trope, not really, but what is with like announcers saying. Like they don't want to say ass. Like when somebody like catches a touchdown and their ass like falls in the end zone, like they don't want to say ass.
That's so true.
They want to say like, oh, his backside touched the end zone and he's in.
Or they'll like circle it. They're like, as you can see right there, he makes contact with the end zone. It's like, come on, we're grown-ups here.
Just say ass.
Yeah.
Or just say butt. I don't care.
They're even afraid to say butt. It's so weird.
His backside, his rear end was in. Like, I don't know why they're so
the most scientific. We're all grown-ups. We all know what a butt is. We all have them.
Or say ass. Nobody will give a shit. People probably respect it more.
Yeah, I feel like they just feel like Disney or the networks just having a gun to the back of their head. Like, don't you dare lose a single viewer. Right. But yeah, that is so. I've never thought about that. They always just have the weirdest ways of explaining it. Like whenever they get like Mike Pereira or something to come out and explain a call, it's like, like circle it. As you can see, the backside hits right here. You can see right where his two legs meet on his back, and they meet right there.
You can see like on his upper thigh region that his
on his reverse upper thighs.
Right, that he touched the end zone. So like I never understood. Like just say it, and they always like pause for like a half a second because they don't really know what
they're
angle they want to go.
They're thinking about it.
Yeah. So it's like just say ass. Dude.
That part of just even American culture is so weird.
Right.
Like we'll like avoid saying the word butt and ass, but then Game of Thrones will show people fucking.
Well, even like,
or we'll show like violence to the max.
Well, even on a smaller scale, like Twitter, like they're dropping the F-bomb every other tweet you can sometimes see, and it's like we're all used to it. Like,
but then like they'll block anything else.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like. It's fine. Like you can say ass. Nobody will give a shit.
Yeah, I think we're past that.
We are very past that.
Yeah.
For like the last
40 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Who cares?
Another one I have is I'm sick of training montages in sports movies.
Oh, I don't mind them.
I just don't feel pumped up. They're all the same. It's all they start off weak, it just gets stronger as the song goes on. It just feels like a way to force a song into a movie. After Rocky did it, I'm like, all right, I think we're over it.
Right, and that was back in the 80s.
Exactly. It's just an easy way to kill time, and I guess it shows the passage of time and like shows that he's working hard, but they're all just too long. And they're all the same. But now I also just don't like how everyone just parodies the Rocky one.
Right.
They will use the same song and do like the exact, like he's hitting meat or something like that.
Right.
Running upstairs.
Running or chasing a chicken
Mm-hmm.
or just hitting the weights. And like he's like looking in the mirror. Like
Yep.
all intense. What else would they do? Yeah, I think what like Rocky IV was like 30% of the movie was all montages.
Yep.
So like they really
They were milking it for
Right.
sure.
And I understand with pace and all that, but yeah,
That one's more of a filmmaker trope than it probably is a sports trope
Right.
for me.
What else do I hate?
Another one I hate is how it's again about like analysts and just how they're blowing hot air 90% of the time, but every single game that's lost, it's the quarterback's fault or like the NBA superstar's fault. Every single game they won, it's because the quarterback stepped up or the NBA superstar stepped up.
Yeah.
Have we not reached a point of like we're all into sports enough that I think we can like handle a more detailed analysis than just the quarterback is good, quarterback bad versus NBA superstar good, superstar bad.
Right. And that's going to, sports writers do that because it gets the most headlines.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about LeBron. Always comes down to money. You're going to get more clicks if you blame it on an athlete compared to, I don't know, J.R. Smith.
Yeah. Or like, talking about like adjustments or like formations, anything like that.
Right. Or like, you can sometimes go into coaching, but usually it's the star of the team.
Yeah.
That they attack right away.
Yeah. I just wish there was a network out there that could do like more in-depth analysis that's like more mainstream because I think fans are ready for that. I don't think fans are going to sit there like every single game like, yeah, Cowboys won because of Dak Prescott. Oh, Cowboys lost because of Dak Prescott. Like I think we understand there's more nuance to it at this point.
You can find a lot of that on YouTube.
There is, yeah.
The thing with like ESPN and all that is the reason they hire like Stephen A is because it makes for great clips.
Yeah.
Very controversial. They can argue all day. And that's more entertaining to the normal person than like analytic people like agreeing on a take and moving on.
I forget that probably 80% of sports fans are more casual fans.
And it's entertainment.
It is.
So like they're just going obviously for clicks and all that. When Stephen A makes a wild rant, normal people are gonna watch that more than some guy's analysis of why Kirk Cousins is not throwing the deep ball well. That's just natural.
You're right.
But that's I agree with you. But
it's still a problem. But yeah, I'm just ready for something new. There's a market there, I think.
There's a lot of YouTube channels that do what you're saying.
Yeah, so there's even TikTokers who do it.
Sure. Yeah. So there is that. It's just is it mainstream or not is probably the argument.
I know. I think I'm more so just upset that we as the fans don't demand more or something.
Right. If you look for it, you can find it.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. You're like, come on, I just want some.
I'm just waiting for Stephen A. Smith to break down the I formation. I'm probably lost.
That actually would be funny.
I think that would be the best thing ESPN could do is actually get Stephen A. in front of a whiteboard and say, break down a play.
And I think NFL players would enjoy that. Or like Skip Bayless doing that or something.
God, if we ever make it big, that's what we got. We got to like have a show where we bring on these analysts and like actually have them break down
the formations.
Yeah, but like it's only like the talking head analysts or the former players.
Right.
The former players would do better, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, I would love to get like Max Kellerman in front of the whiteboard, just see what he could do.
Colin Cowherd.
Oh, Colin would obviously destroy. Colin would just write down analogies on the board.
Just like doodles of like houses and like this.
Yeah, the housing market, Wall Street, Silicon Valley.
Yeah. And then it would like equal to like, well, Wall Street's up and down, just like, I don't know, the Vikings offense.
Yeah.
Or you do some stupid analogy.
Do parallels.
Like
then when you zoom out of the whiteboard, it just says divorce in a big word. It's just all a beautiful minds type thing.
Yeah. You get way too artsy fartsy with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got one more. You got any more?
No, I don't.
The last one I have, and I think we as fans are so ready to move past this. But yet, like whenever we do a little bit, the media just attacks it. But cliche post-game interview responses.
Yeah.
I am so over them. They're always just trying to say the safe thing because they don't want to make headlines for their team and all of that.
Understandable, but yeah.
It is understandable. But at the same time, how many times do we need to hear, oh yeah, it was just shout out to my teammates, did a really good job. The other team played really well, but it was all about we just executed, turned over the ball less. So I don't know. I think all my problems are more so with just like how babied the fans are,
right,
in terms of sports. And again, there is markets out there for more in-depth stuff. But anytime anything even slightly controversial comes out that's even like strays a little bit from a typical post-game response, it's everywhere.
Right.
So I get why the teams do it.
Right. Just be very vanilla about it and everything. What is funny is like, I think in college football, basketball too, is like at halftime they'll interview the coaches, and the coaches are like so short with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, you gotta play better in second half.
Yeah.
It'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
One word responses pretty much.
God
That is
bless
funny.
those halftime reporters for like doing that.
Yes.
They know exactly the answer they're gonna get. They have to go get these guys.
You have to run.
They have to sprint to get them as they're like heading off to the field. Like, coach, what adjustments can you make in the second half? Just got to play better. Thank you. Back to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be the least fulfilling job.
And those poor
of all
and they're
time.
usually lady reporters, and those poor lady reporters are like running in heels.
Yeah, and probably
track
getting
them down.
like, there's no way the coach wants to talk to them. They probably have to like straight up step in front of them to like get them to stop.
Right. And they're always like walking right by them, like doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. The coaches. Also, the coaches can fucking relax and give them a better, like, slow down, give them a good answer. You don't need to be with the team the entire halftime.
Yeah. It's case by case, but yeah, usually it's just
There's some coaches that
responses.
do like a decent job at it.
Popovich used to be notorious for that.
Yeah.
At the like end of the quarters.
hmm
That was funny.
I do like when the NBA does the report, the like interviews like mid quarter, like when the game is going on. I think that's really unique.
Or like, a team's like really fucking up if like the assistant coach is doing the interview and
Yeah.
not the head coach. Like, oh, they're
Getting chewed out. That's so bad. Hey, so we're here with assistant coach. What's your name again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay with you. I'll answer every question. I do not want to be in that fucking locker room right now.
Do you want to ask me anything else?
Yeah, ask me about my day. Ask me anything, dude. I think he's gonna fire me in there. I'm trying to enjoy this as long as possible.
It's always very telling when the assistant coach is in the interview.
Yeah, there's no chances for a good reason.
Right. It's like, oh boy, they're getting chewed out right now.
Yeah, it's bad. God bless them, though. God bless the sideline reporters. That's got to be one of the toughest jobs in sports and just the most thankless.
Yeah, it's tough. And then they got to like follow injury reports, kind of be nosy and all that.
Yeah, because you had to go like tap on people's shoulder, like, hey, is he tear his ACL? Like, what's going on
They
there?
got to eavesdrop a lot.
That's got to be a tough job. That's why I'm hyped Doris Burke got her contract extension.
Yeah, good
She
for
does
her.
a good job.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, that is
I'm happy
definitely a
for her.
thankless job because they also, they have to dress super nice and like run around at heels and
Mhm.
like drag their cameraman with them. They have like a mic on a wire, so I'm sure they trip all the time.
Just absolute chaos all around.
Oh yeah, no one wants to talk. They're like the players are like trained not to talk to these guys.
Yeah.
like you're trained not to talk to the media all week.
Mm-hmm. And the reporters got to beat it out of them.
Yeah, pretty much. So good for them.
Good for them.
We got to interview a sideline reporter or something like that. That'd be fun.
Mhm. We'll find somebody.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. You got anything else before we wrap this sucker up?
Do I have anything? Well, enjoy March Madness. There's gonna be basketball on for the next like 4 weeks every weekend.
Pretty much.
So enjoy it.
And we'll do a big preview episode next podcast once the bracket comes out. Stay tuned for the bracket group details.
Mhm.
We'll try and think of some sort of prize for
I think we'll
the
do a
winner.
Monday episode.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, I like that. And then we'll obviously have one probably come up before Thursday where all the big games start.
Yep, absolutely.
Until for the dance.
They're the dance. We're going dancing.
Going dancing.
Get your dancing shoes ready, people.
One more thing.
Let's hear
Do
it.
you want to talk brackets yet, or you want to say that for Monday?
I talk a little bit. What do you got?
Do you have any strategies for brackets?
We talked about my naming strategy. I just pick good names a good amount of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. Underdogs can't win more than 2 games, like big underdogs, like anything under a 10 seed. They usually don't get to win more than 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I try and stick with that. I try and have at least 2 1 seeds in the Final Four at all times because usually that's how it happens.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the games I always struggle with the most are the 8 versus the 9.
Oh yeah, that is tough.
That is always the toughest. That's always when I just pick the better name.
Right, or you flip a coin,
Yep, 100%.
or what names?
Yeah, do you do anything like flip a coin or like eeny, meeny, miny, mo to pick like tough games?
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of that. Whatever name sounds cooler. Like I
Yeah.
said, I like picking Xavier.
I always try and close my eyes and imagine like the ESPN broadcasters like, you're tuning into Duke versus Xavier or you're tuning into Duke versus Providence. Like I was just like, oh, what sounds better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I do too. There's always like some blue bloods in my head that I always go to too. So, but we can dive deep on that.
Yeah, we'll do a big selection Monday.
And we'll get into the psychology of bracketology.
Absolutely. That sounds fun. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. And if you're Carson Wentz listening to this, our bad.
And Carson, answer my phone calls. You're
Yeah.
not answering them for like the last 10 years.
Grandma's pissed.
Grandma's fucking very mad right now.
See ya.
See ya.